And there's growing concerns as we go to air tonight. 8 new cases in Victoria after days and days of zero community transmission. Daniel Andrews is considering whether to reimpose restrictions. Certainly there's been a number of meetings this afternoon. In Sydney, there's a block of flats in Bondi that's now under 24/7 police guard to stop anyone leaving. Shades of Victoria's treatment of the high-rise towers in Flemington, isn't it? And any of the 200,000 residents of Fairfield in Sydney who need to leave for essential work must get tested every 72 hours. Not even Victoria was that hard. Now, I'm not going to get in the business of criticising Gladys Berejiklian for this lockdown. With about 10% of the current caseload in hospital and about 20% of those hospital cases in ICU, COVID remains a serious illness, including for some young people. But the sooner lockdowns stop being our only strategy for dealing with this virus, the sooner this stop-start life can end. I mean, I reckon we have, as Australians, been played for fools. Very early on, the whole COVID strategy was flattening the curve, suppression, all the politicians and experts told us. All along, though, not articulated until well into the pandemic, clearly their goal has been the elimination of this virus, or zero community transmission, which is basically the same thing. And this has become the metric against which everything is judged. In the absence of widespread vaccination, that's meant lockdowns, wherever there's more than a handful of cases, and it means massive costs, not just to livelihoods, but the mental health of so many, and as statistics have shown, to young Australians in particular. Now, sure, lockdowns save some lives, but they badly damage lots of lives too. And in the end, people don't want to be compensated for being locked up in their homes, although thank you, Canberra. Now that, of course, it's a lockdown in Sydney, you're all pulling out the chequebook. But I'm not one of those who argue that COVID's nothing. I accept that uncontrolled and without vaccinations, it would put at risk many of our most vulnerable. But lockdowns are massively damaging our society too, to the point, it's a toss-up, isn't it? What's worse, COVID or the policies to deal with COVID? That's why vaccinations are still the only way we have out of this half-life. Now, for the life of me, I still don't understand why we don't have operating right now tonight 24/7 vaccination centres around the country, why we still don't have every pharmacy able to dispense COVID vaccinations like the flu jab. And while there's reportedly some 3 million AZ jabs available, there's still a whole lot of confusion about who should get them. For the life of me, I can't understand why we do not have vaccine choice in this country, regardless of age. Whatever jab you want, you can get. I can't see politicians and chief health officers getting us out of this mess. They love the power, they love the relevance, they love being able to use this pandemic as cover for all the other things they promised they'd get done, but haven't. They've also used it, haven't they, to spend a colossal amount of money. And for governments of the left in particular, though the right's not immune either, they've grown the scale of the state in our lives, with restrictions on our liberty that we haven't seen outside wartime. Again, the only way out of this mess is vaccination. Honestly, I cannot see another way. I can't see another way. So Australia is in our hands. And I tell you what, I have to say this again. When we are through this mess, when we are through this chaos and out the other side and starting to open up, we must have a full Royal Commission into the totality of our response to this pandemic, so that the next generation that has to face one, and I promise you, this won't be the last, might avoid at least some of this ongoing purgatory, because we cannot do this all over again. No Australian could bear it, and the country certainly can't afford it either.